It's so good to see you. It's so good to reconnect.
Yeah, no, it's good to see you too. It's been
Where
a
are
long
you?
time.
A very long time. Where are you now?
Yeah, so currently I'm in South Florida, close to the Tampa Bay area.
Okay. Yes. Okay, because I see you're working as a set. We'll get into that. I want to hear uh, your story from you. So first thing, let's circle back and rewind to
All right.
2014, 2015. And can you explain how you first learned about TeamGleas, the opportunity to play, opportunity to get your master's in the UK, and what your initial thoughts were about it?
Yeah, sure. So initially, when I first heard about TeamGleas, I was at Lemoyne. That's where I went to undergrad at. I know you're
Same,
alumni too.
same. Yep.
So yeah, so this story is actually kind of crazy. I had a class, Father McCallum's class. It was an entrepreneurship class, and this day specifically, I was feeling tired, and I honestly was thinking about skipping the class. And I decided not to. Something told me to go to class that day, and I'm so glad that I did. And so what happened was when I got to class, Father McCallum, he says that we have a guest speaker coming in today, and that's when he introduced you, and you came in to speak with our class about Team Glees. And long story short, I was listening to your presentation, and once I heard about the opportunity to play basketball overseas and get my master's, it was like a light bulb switched off in my head.
I love that. Yes, that is all ringing a bell. He and Renee Downey were the best teachers at Lemoyne. Did you have Renee as well?
Yeah, I had her for a HR
Yes.
class.
Okay, so yes, we went to the same school, had the best business teachers, business professors, and yes, I remember that. I forgot that's how you heard about it. And also share what your basketball background is because you have a different playing history than most of our players, but super unique and I want to help more players like you. So share your background and your collegiate basketball experience
Yeah,
in the
100%.
US.
So 100%. So yeah, my basketball background, I actually never got a chance to play NCAA. So that's how my story is a bit unique from probably some of the other TG athletes. So I went to Lemoyne, which is a D2 school. I tried out for the team 3 years. Didn't make the team. And so that kind of initially led me to go the TG route, because I knew it would give me an opportunity to play college basketball.
So, and you kept playing though while at Lemoyne, right? You played
Yes,
intramurals
yes,
consistently throughout.
yes. I played in the mirrors. I stayed in shape. I was always working on my game, and I knew that I can play at the collegiate level. It was just that I never got that opportunity at Lemoyne. And so that's how I learned about it.
I love it. I love that you took this as an opportunity and you played. You didn't play NCAA, but you still played overseas. And that's the point that I want to get across. So there's this stigma or there's this myth, this assumption that you have to be one of the best players to then play overseas. And back, before we learned about the opportunity to play in college, that was the only way to play, right? You had to be like pro, get a contract.
Yeah,
That's not the case. There's
yeah,
so many opportunities outside of that. And so Lemoyne, we went to such a small school. So there wasn't a club team. But if there was a club, I know you absolutely would have played club there. And
oh
for
yeah.
me, when I transferred out, so I went to Lemoyne for 3.5 years, but I transferred out for 1 year and it was a D1 school. And there was no way I was going to make that team. I'm like an
Right.
average volleyball player. So there's no way I was going to make that team. But we had a club team where I went. So that's how, like, I was very similar to at the other school that I went to in terms of taking whatever opportunity was still available outside of the NCAA to play because it's still
Mhm.
competitive and it's way
Yes.
more laid back, right? Than what the
100%.
NCAA would have
100%.
been.
Yeah.
So typically I would say, how did your NCAA experience compared to your experience in the UK? Because that's what you were playing in the UK, right? But it's the same question. How did the intramural experience compare to Bucks when you were in the UK?
Uh, uh, yeah. So intramurals, if anybody's played before, it's like sort of like student organized, if that makes sense. This they hire a few students to referee the games, keep the scoreboard. There's no stat keeping, no one filming the games. So it's a lot. It's more student organized, but it still gave me that opportunity to keep playing and staying active.
Mm-hmm.
Now switching over to Bucks. So when I got to Cardiff, we practiced twice a week, and we had games on Wednesdays. I think they call it Bucks Wednesdays.
Mm-hmm.
So we had games every Wednesday, and that was when like all the sports teams played their games. And I know that can be different from NCAA because it can be a different day of the week where a volleyball team plays and the football team. But out in the UK, like all the sporting teams played on Wednesdays for Bucks Wednesdays. And just in terms of my experience, basketball is not that big in the UK compared to the USA. And even Wales is actually even smaller, but it is growing. So we didn't have like a big crowd at our games.
Right.
The biggest crowd that we had was in varsity, which is like our homecoming for the
Yeah.
school.
We actually
Yeah, so
never talk about varsity, rarely. So could you share a little bit about varsity and how it's the same every year and like what the tradition is behind that?
yeah, yeah, for sure. Varsity was real fun. It was a real
Mm-hmm.
fun experience. So in a nutshell, so pretty much our university plays our rival university. That's how it's set up. And I was going to Cardiff University. Our rivals were Swansea University. And pretty much we all play the other school in our sport. So I was on the basketball team. We played their basketball team, the soccer team, the rugby, all the different sports play against each other at that school's home turf. And whatever school wins the most sporting events wins the entire varsity competition.
And it's the
Yeah,
same every year,
same
which
every year.
is
And
awesome. I love
yeah,
that tradition.
we we had about like 200 to 300 people show up for our game, so
Oh,
that was real
so cool.
exciting. We did win. I had about 22 points that game, so
Stop it.
it was yeah,
Were
it's
you
crazy.
MVP
Yeah,
that year? You were, right? Oh my
yeah.
God. So look at you're coming from the States playing intramurals and you're now playing in the UK in college and you're the MVP of the team. Like that's incredible. And what an amazing experience for you. Obviously you worked very hard. Obviously you deserved it. And I just love that you never gave up on your dream of playing basketball. And then your dream got even better, right? So you kept playing once you graduated, right? Can you talk a little bit about the league or how you even got involved?
Yes, for sure. So after that 1 year at Cardiff, I was on the high. Like you said, I got an MVP award. Had a great season. I hit a game-winning shot that
Oh
season.
my God.
And
For
I know
you, man.
that just
That's awesome.
yeah, just for being a college basketball player, some players can play for 4 years and never like accomplish some of those things. So I was just, at a high. So after I finished grad school, that's when I decided to continue my basketball career playing pro. And the first team I played for was actually in Cardiff, Cardiff City Basketball Club. And they're in the UK Division Two League. So I played there for one season. It was a good experience. It obviously wasn't the BBL, which is the highest league in the UK, but it still gave me an opportunity to get some exposure and compete at a higher level
Mm-hmm.
at the pro level. So that was the first stop after grad school.
Intramural to pro. I just love that path. I can't get over how amazing that is. So you played, was that in the NBL or the EBL? Was that
Yeah,
the NBL?
yeah, the
Cool.
NBL.
Okay. And while you were playing for them, were you getting paid or were you working at the same time? What did that lifestyle look like?
Yeah, so when I was playing for Cardiff City, it was a small club, so they were able to handle my living expenses and
Really?
yeah, my living
That's
expenses
amazing.
and my food was covered there.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was just foot in the door. I wasn't getting a paycheck every week, but it was definitely something that I can use to build on.
And that's pretty typical also of pro sports in England. It's not like going to, some say a D1 player, D2 goes and plays like pro and gets paid salary in England. Even volleyball, that's not a paycheck. That's you're really playing for the love of the game because you want to keep playing and you're maybe working at the same time. So you also were able to extend your stay. How long did you stay in the UK?
So do you mean starting from grad school, or do you
Yes,
mean just in general? Okay.
starting from grad
So
school.
I think that it was in total a little over 3 years.
So how did you stay? Because I don't think they had the grad visa back then.
Yeah, so my student visa was actually good for over a year because I
Yep.
was completing my dissertation and doing those things. And then from there, I know that the U.S. visa has a 6 month 6 month stay in a foreign country. So somehow the GM was able to get me to extend my stay
Awesome.
while I was playing there. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. And so you completed your MBA at Cardiff. And then did you end up, during those 3 years, did you end up working for a company in the UK or did you play the whole time? What did your next like year and a half look like after graduating from Cardiff?
Yeah, for sure. So I was really focused on playing and getting myself at a higher level at the pro circuit. Now, in terms of work, I did do some work for the Salvation Army, some consulting for the Salvation Army out in Cardiff. So
Okay.
that's pretty much what I did in terms of work. But like I said before, my main focus was getting more exposure so that I can play at a higher level
And did you play for another team after Cardiff City?
after Carter City. So in regards to the UK, let's go back to 2020. So I got an offer from a team in Reading. I'm not
Yeah.
sure if you heard of Reading.
Yep.
Yeah. So I got an offer from a team in Reading. However, this was literally the middle of the pandemic, and
Yeah.
yeah,
How did that
and
play out?
it was insane. It was insane.
So could you
So
go?
I was in the UK during the pandemic. It was it was crazy,
Ah,
and I'm out in the UK, and I believe it was like maybe August 2020 or getting close to September 2020, and
okay.
the the second wave of COVID hit, and I get a notification from the team like we're not even gonna proceed with the season. They were canceling all the sporting events, and the UK was going on like tier two lockdown.
Yeah, they were really strict, I remember, because Lizzie, do you remember Lizzie Cheek? She played with me at Lemoyne
Uh,
volleyball. I don't know if you ever met
you
her,
said what
but she
was her
moved.
name?
Lizzie Cheek.
Can't doesn't ring a
She
bell.
was like one of the best volleyball players at Lemoyne. And she had moved to London with her partner in, I think, early 2020. And they were so excited to travel and, take advantage of being in Europe at the time because it was still considered the EU, but that's not a conversation. Um,
Oh yeah.
and she was just telling me, like, we can't go anywhere, we can't do anything. I remember being very, very strict there. So that makes sense that the season was canceled.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, it was really strict. They weren't. There was a point where they didn't even let people like out. They didn't want people to even leave their houses. It
Right.
was
She was
crazy.
like, I can only go to Sainsbury and
Sainsbury.
yeah, or Tesco.
Tesco.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay, so you get this offer, and then eventually, was it basically pulled
Yeah.
or okay?
Yeah,
Yep.
unfortunately,
Yeah.
it got pulled because they weren't able to continue with the season. So I had to eventually fly back to the USA.
Hmm.
So early 2021 is when I got back to USA.
Okay. And then what? When you got home, where did you move to the US anyway? Did you move back? Originally, are you from New York?
Yeah,
Right?
originally I'm from
Okay.
upstate New
Okay.
York. Yeah,
Okay.
Rochester.
Oh yeah, Buffalo, Rochester. Got it. Okay.
Yep.
So then you come back
So
early 21, and what's next?
yeah, so I came back early 2021. Obviously a little disappointed that I wasn't able to play. So I'm thinking of alternatives and how I can get back overseas to play. And the next best alternative was actually playing for the local semi-pro team in Rochester.
Hmm. Oh
Yeah,
wow.
the Rochester
Okay.
Razor Sharks. Yep.
All right. And so you tried it out.
Yeah, I tried out, made the team, and now I'm playing for the hometown team, which was another thing that I never imagined myself doing, because
What?
I grew up like going to their games and
Wow.
watching them. So
Oh wow.
ended up playing for the hometown team, and I played for them for that whole season of 2021.
Okay.
Yeah,
Congratulations. Good for you. That you just
thanks.
keep like finding opportunities and taking advantage of them. I love that.
Absolutely.
Love it. Okay, so then I would actually like to rewind for a second and go back to the UK. And if you can just touch on maybe one thing that was different or a challenge, or honestly something that you like about the differences between college in the US, so your Lemoyne experience and your Cardiff experience. So not even in terms of sports, but in terms of the academic experience. How does the US college experience compare to the UK?
Yeah, sure. So, just in terms of the academics, I know that Cardiff is like a Russell Group university,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't know that when I applied there, but
Yeah. I
to
didn't when
people,
I went overseas either. So for those who don't know, and most people don't because we didn't even know, Russell Group in the UK is like our Ivy League in the US. Okay.
yeah, so they obviously have high academic standards,
Mm-hmm.
and one thing that I remember is for all of our exams, we had to go to a big gym, and there were several prompters walking around to make sure no one's cheating and no funny business is going on. And the thing about the exams were they were all essay format, which was a complete change for me
Mm-hmm.
coming from Lemoyne, where we had multiple choice and short answer. They were all essay format, so they really wanted to make sure that you knew what you were talking about.
Yeah.
So that was a major change for me for the academics, but I survived.
Survived, you worked through it. It's challenging. And that's the case, that's consistent across all of our experiences who have gone to grad school in the UK. That's what everyone says. One, the grading's different, right? That's like a shock. And two, just everything. Sorry, this fly is driving me nuts. Everything the finals and your grades are based on usually one paper, maybe two, but it's a lot of pressure. And so it's this really getting uncomfortable and then being resilient with it and knowing what we're actually studying. So yeah, that's consistent for us as well. Now, how do you feel, or I should say, do you feel that your MBA from Cardiff has helped you professionally since you graduated?
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. Uh, just in terms of when employers see my resume and they see that I studied overseas, that's one of the first things that they bring up in the interview. How was the experience? How did you end up going there? And they ask me a bunch of questions, and they always have like that wow factor when I tell them about my experience studying overseas.
I love that. And that's what I've heard as well from alumni, that it almost becomes the center, like a central piece of an interview or the conversation, because it's so unique and it says a lot about you. Again, you're willing to leave your comfort zone, you're taking a risk. And then when you can put into perspective how strong of a university Cardiff is, even though they've probably never heard of it, right? Same as my school, most people in the States are not familiar with UK colleges, so they don't know how it's ranked.
Hmm.
But when you put that in perspective, they're even more like, oh my God,
Exactly.
wow, like this is really, really impressive. Great. I love that. Can you talk a little bit about, you mentioned that you wrote a book about playing basketball. I had no idea about this. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. Last year, I believe it was March of 2023, is when I published the book. It's called Bigger Than Basketball,
Oh my
and
God.
it was about 3 years, 3 to 4 years in the making. And I never thought I would be an author, to be honest with you. I never
That's
thought so, but
amazing.
just it really talks about my experience, my journey as a kid, how I started to play through high school and through college when I went to Lemoyne, and obviously I added when I went over to Cardiff and I played in grad school and through my pro career as well. So a lot of different stories in there. It's available on Amazon, Kindle, and paperback. But yeah, so that was just published last year, 2023.
Wow. And did you, so this is, I feel like I could ask you a bunch of side conversations. Did you do KDP, like Kindle Direct Publishing? Is that how, all right.
That was
Okay.
that
Okay.
was the platform.
I
That was the best
love
platform
it.
I
I've
used.
learned a little bit about that. I'm aware of it a little bit. And were you able to find success and make some money?
Yeah, so last time I checked, it was in the top 50 for young adult basketball books in the UK. Um,
Wow.
so it's been doing pretty great. I've been doing getting a lot of exposure and just really getting my story out there. I have a story about how I seen LeBron James play when he was in high school. So a bunch of cool stories in there.
Yeah. All right. Well, when we're done here, that's the first thing I'm gonna do. I'm absolutely gonna go get it on my Kindle. That's me. You are an author. Congratulations. That's so awesome. And then I
Thanks.
know now you're also, you let me know you've started a company and you're a data scientist. What can you talk a little bit about that as well? And we'll finish with professionally what you're doing today.
Yeah, for sure. So, I haven't necessarily started a company. Uh, in terms of the data science, this is more of something that I've more recently got into. I recently got certified in Google Data Analytics.
Ah,
So,
okay.
yeah, yeah. So, the data science, that's where that comes into play. And I always knew, like, studying the MBA and then doing business in at Lemoyne, I always knew that I want to work with numbers and data science and data analysts. That's pretty much what we do, crunch numbers, use machine learning, AI, different things like that. So that's more of what I've been more recently pivoting my career to.
That's awesome. And obviously, everything is changing by the day with AI, so you're never going to stop learning in that aspect. I have
Absolutely.
questions for you. I should come to you for some business help. Um, Derrell,
For
you
sure.
are so impressive. I want to ask one more question, and that is if you were sitting down with someone who was in your shoes at Lemoyne many years ago, someone who's just learning about TeamGleas, what advice would you have for them?
Advice. They're just learning about TeamGleas. If they're considering it, I would definitely encourage them to take that chance and do it. Um, there's a lot more benefits and advantages on taking that risk than not doing it. That year specifically opened a lot of doors for me. In my career and just in my life in general. Once when I took that risk, so I would definitely encourage them to do it.
I love it. Great. Derrell, thank you so much for reconnecting. I'm so happy to hear about all of your success since the last time we connected. I really appreciate your time and saying yes when I come to help. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
No, thanks for having me on here. It was awesome catching up with you.
Same. All right, I'm gonna go buy your book.
I appreciate that.
All right. See ya. Have a good
All
rest of
right,
your day.
see you. Speak to you soon.
Sounds good.